So today we're gonna be showing you how we make our New Year cookies, guys. So for the New Year cookie recipe, guys, we're gonna be needing 1.4 kilos of flour, 650 grams of brown sugar, 225 grams of white sugar. We're gonna be needing 4.5 eggs. You're gonna be needing 10 grams of salt, 10 grams of baking powder, and more important, 500 grams of butter, soft butter. In our mixer, we're gonna, using the, give me a second to remember this name, the bitter. We're gonna put our bitter in here. We're gonna mix our, it's not working. We're gonna mix our butter with our sugars. Reason why we do this is just to get it nice and fluffy. And we're gonna start very slow first until the butter starts incorporating with the sugars. So the softer the butter it is, the better it will be for you when you're making this. Next step you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be putting your eggs. Your eggs, you're gonna make sure you put them very slow and one by one while we have the bitter going on, probably the mixture going on, probably in a speed too. The reason why we put salt on this recipe is because, as you will see, there was a lot of sugar, of course, and also all the ingredients that we're gonna use as extra for these cookies are very sugary. So this gives it a nice balance to when you're eating and not to be super overload of sugar. And then same thing, 10 grams of baking powder. It can be any brand, doesn't have to be Mackenzie's. So make sure you go lower in the speed, just so it doesn't go and explode everywhere. It has happened a lot to us in the bakehouse. It's looking beautiful. And you see how the consistency is starting to get nice and like hard, so it's easy for you to mold with your hands. However, I can still see a lot of like elastic kind of look. Is it elastic look? I don't know if you can say elastic look, like sticky look. So that's why that's how you can tell it needs more and more flour. When you're like around halfway to the flour, I will suggest you maybe to stop it, get it down, and just scrape the sides a little bit. The reason why we scrape the sides is otherwise they will not be incorporating in the mix. And let's finish putting our, whatever is left from our flour. Once all your dough is out, ready to go, make sure you take it out from here. Don't waste any little bit because every little counts. Scrapers are very important to have in your kitchen because you're always gonna need to be doing these kind of things. Make sure you get plastic scrapers because they're easier for you to move around on curve and surfaces. Surfaces? How do you say that? Surface. There you go. When we have these, guys, what we're gonna do, divide this dough in half. The reason why I'm dividing it in half is because I'm doing 2 different cookie flavors. The moment you wanna make 5, 6, whatever, you divide it into that many. In order to know how much of the filling and of the extra cookie biscuits you wanna put in your dough, you're gonna measure weight, how much is this? This is around 1.2 kilos, and I normally add a 10% of that of my biscuits. So in this case, I'm gonna be adding Ferrero Rocher and 120 grams of the biscuit cookies into each of these mix. We wanna chop this into little pieces. You can either chop it, you can either smash it, whatever you want. You wanna make sure the pieces are not too big though. You wanna make sure that the pieces are small, so when you're mixing it with your dough, it creates a nice shape and it doesn't have like a big piece into the shape cookie. So what you do, you wanna spread it out, then you grab all your biscuits, and then you start doing this, fold it in, and start literally just mixing it. If you don't like to work with your hands, I'm sorry, this is not for you. It's like a Play-Doh thing. Did we call it Play-Doh back in my country? I don't know. Anyone from Venezuela there watching? How do we used to close Play-Doh? So same thing we're gonna be doing with our Ferrero Rochers. You just wanna cut them into very small pieces. It gets a bit sticky around when you're cutting it. You don't wanna have big pieces of Ferrero going around your cookie. I just called myself really bad. Oh, like really bad. No one will be eating these cookies. Thank you, Medic. Back here. So now we can work on this. Make sure your mix of Ferreros is all spread out, and then we let it rest for a little bit before our next step. We have to let them set for a little bit. You don't want to let them set for too much because it will get dry. In our bake shop, of course, we weigh them, but I mean, you're doing this from home. If you're doing it just for your family and friends, you don't have to weigh them. Now, if you're gonna do it for a business, make sure you weigh them if you're gonna sell them to make some profit. In this case, look, I think if we get a nice hand ball like this that fits on my hand, will be more than perfect. What we do is we open them up like this. We use piping bags in the shop. However, for you, it's gonna be much easier. Just grab a spoon, grab some of the filling, in this case, Biscoff spread, because we're using the Biscoff cookie, put it in the middle. Now, on this step, it's very important when you're closing it up that you make sure there is no holes anywhere. Otherwise, your filling is gonna come everywhere when you're gonna bake it, and it's gonna, what we call, explode. So all you gotta do is do this, ready, done. If by any chance you put too much filling or you don't have enough of the cookie dough when you're closing it, and let's say this happens, right? What you can do is take some of your extra cookie from before, get it a bit flat and put it on, and then keep doing the same thing. Now we're gonna do the same thing with the Nutella filling. You can go as much as little as you want. Now, the trick that I said to you I was gonna mention later is the following. If we bake the cookies like this at room temperature, the butter is melted, everything is very soft, the cookies are gonna go flat and spread out. What we do to be able to make the cookies nice and big as a New York cookie and to keep the filling inside nice and soft and gooey is we freeze the cookies overnight. By freezing the cookies overnight, you get that consistency, you get the shape kind of staying there. So when you put it in the oven, we do it at 210 for around 8 minutes. The cookie still goes a little bit down, but it doesn't lose the shape, so you will still have a nice big round cookie. These cookies can be easily, sold like this. In our bake shop, of course, we decorate them really nice and extravagant just so they look more yum to it. So I'm gonna show you quickly some options to do it. Before I do that, actually, I'm gonna open this in front of you. I'm gonna open one of these so you see how gooey they are in front. That's what you want. So if you want them to decorate, all you gotta do, nice and simple, grab your Nutella, grab a spoon of Nutella or the piping bag if you have some, put it nice on top, in the middle, spread it there. Whoop. It's easier with the piping bag, of course. Open your Ferrero and then go nicely, boom, boom. You got a nice, beautiful Ferrero cookie there. Same thing you can do with your Biscoff. Grab your Biscoff cookie, put it on your plate, grab your biscuit, spread, biscuit, BB, I don't know what I'm saying. Grab a little bit, and then you pop your cookie on top, and voila. There you go. Beautiful, nice New York cookie. Delish. Perfect.